Okay, class, we're going to look at these 10 questions that I posted for your study guide. And you can use notes on your test, so I would take these notes down. And I would also have your 45, 45, 90 triangle and 30, 60, 90 triangle, the formulas for those memorized. You know, you got x, and x times root 2 on a 45, 45, 90, and then 30, 60, 90, you got x, 2x is hypotenuse, and x root 3 is your other side. Okay, so we're going to go through these one at a time. Okay, number one tells us 30, 60, 90. The hypotenuse is 20, which is double my short side. My short side is always across from 30. So if the hypotenuse is double my short side's 10. And the other side is my short side times root 3. Okay, number two. It's a 45, 45, 90. And on these, if your hypotenuse is an even number, you can just half it and multiply it times root 2. So this will be 50 root 2, 50 root 2. Another way to do it is you say 100 represents x times root 2. And we could solve that for x by dividing both sides by root 2. Cancel the root 2's. And don't leave a root on the bottom. So we're going to rationalize that root times root 2, root 2. That gives you 100 root 2 over 2. And then 2 goes into 100 50 times. So 50 root 2. Just another way to do it. All right. Number 3. Okay, remember 45, 45, 90. Your hypotenuse, it's an even number. It's 10. The legs will be half of that times root 2. So 5 root 2. 5 root 2. And now 5 root 2 is the short side. The short side of my 30, 60, 90. Well, my hypotenuse is double that, so that's 10 root 2. But this other side that it wants is my short side times root 3. So short side times root 3, that gives me 5 root 6. Okay. Number 4, we got a 45, 45, 90 attached to a 45, 45, 90. The hypotenuse is 10 root 6, which represents x root 2 on a 45, 45, 90. So solving for x, we divide by root 2, divide by root 2, cancel. If you have a root on top and the bottom, this bottom root, root 2, will go into root 6. It goes in root 3 times because root 2 times root 3 is root 6. So this is 10 root 3 is x, which would go here and here. Okay, so now 10 root 3, if you look at the right side, the 45, 45, 90 on the right, 10 root 3 now represents x root 2. Okay, solve that one, and then we'll have it. Divide by root 2, divide by root 2. Now, root 2 will not go into root 3. So what we got to do is rationalize the root. 10 root 3 divided by root 2. We're going to multiply bottom and top by that root. So that gives me 10 root 6 over root 2 times root 2 is 2, and 2 goes into 10. So that's 5 root 6. So 5 root 6, 5 root 6. Okay, number 5, you have a 30, 60, 90 attached to a 30, 60, 90. Remember, on a 30, 60, 90, your hypotenuse is double the short side. Well, the short side's over here. So short side's 10. And the other one would be 10 times root 3. Okay, so now look at this triangle on the right. 10 root 3 is the hypotenuse of a 30, 60, 90. 10 root 3 equals 2x, because 2x is the hypotenuse on a 30, 60, 90. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so we have 5 root 3 equals my short side. So 5 root 3 here, and then it wants the other side, which is my short side. My short side times root 3. So my short side is 5 root 3 times root 3. That is 5 times 3, which is 15. Okay, now let's look at number 6. Number 6 wants us to find 3 trig functions. So we got to remember our right triangle trig, SOHCAHTOA. If I could write. There we go. So sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent, opposite over adjacent. So we'll start, it wants us to find sine of 30. So label, you got to know what opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse sides are. Opposite side, hypotenuse is here, and adjacent is here. So now we need to figure out what exactly is the hypotenuse and what is the adjacent. Well, this is a 30, 60, 90. Your short side's root 2. Your hypotenuse will be double your short side. So double my short side, 2 times root 2. And my adjacent side will be my short side times root 3. So root 2 times root 3 is root 6. So here are my 3 sides. Now we have what we need to do our trig functions. So if we do sine of 30, that is opposite over hypotenuse. So root 2 over 2 root 2. Well, we got to simplify that down. And so if you'll notice, you could rationalize the root and multiply root 2 and root 2, bottom and top. Or if you'll notice that root 2 goes into root 2 one time. So root 2 goes into root 2 once. So sine 30 is 1/2. Cosine 30 is adjacent over hypotenuse, root 6 over 2 root 2. And notice that root 2 will go into root 6 root 3 times. So my answer is root 3 over 2 for cosine 30. And tangent 30, opposite over adjacent, root 2 over root 6. Okay. So what you could do on this one is multiply bottom and top by root 6, or you could see that this is a fraction that will simplify. Root 2 goes into both root 2 and root 6. Root 2 goes into root 2 once, and root 2 goes into root 6 root 3 times. But I don't want to leave a root on the bottom, so we'll do root 3, root 3. Multiplying those, we get 1 times root 3 is root 3 over root 3 times root 3 is 3. So tangent 30 is root 3 over 3. Okay, so those are our... You will have a question like that on the test where you got to find 3 trig functions and simplify the roots.